Electric vehicles are not the solution to the world's climate problems. Let me clarify. Electric cars are better. They are faster, they have more torque, produce less emissions, have less moving parts than the traditional combustion engine, no drivetrain, no transmission gearbox, etc., are easier to maintain long term. However, the problem is not with the electric motors. The problem is with the batteries, specifically lithium ion batteries. Let's dive into why. The key ingredients of a lithium ion battery include, but not limited to, lithium, cobalt, manganese. These minerals have to be mined somewhere, and the mining of these minerals is a brutal industry.
All of these minerals are found in our electronics and in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which contains an estimated $24 trillion in untapped mineral resources. Yet the DRC remains one of the poorest and most dangerous countries in the world, and mining these four metals can help fund armed conflict in the region.
The mining potential of this country is just beyond imaginable, and yet you have poverty at the highest level.
We have the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where there is a decades-long conflict in the eastern provinces of the country. The conflict, also known as Africa's World War or the Great War of Africa, has claimed the lives of at least 6 million people since its inception in 1996. Today, over 25 million people are in dire need of humanitarian aid, and over 7 million people are displaced. At the height of the war, it was reported that 45,000 people were killed every month due to the conflict in the DRC. What is mined in the DRC? A whole host of major deposits include diamonds, gold, copper, cobalt, tin, and lithium. Western companies and nations are complicit in fueling the mining of these conflict minerals. The Israeli news outlet Haaretz ran an investigative piece on July 2020 outlining how Dan Gertler, hailing from one of the aristocratic families of Israel's fading diamond industry, went from being a millionaire to becoming a billionaire, bribing officials in the DRC with $20 million to receive exclusive mining permits in the DRC. Eventually, he found his place as one of the kingpins of the DRC's mining industry. Rwanda, next door to the DRC, receives millions of dollars in military assistance from the European Union, the United States, and the UK. In February 2024, it was also reported that Rwanda had procured anti-drone radar military weapons from Poland, a week following the departure of the Polish president from Rwanda. Many believe that the Polish-made military weapons was intended for use in the battle with the DRC. The United Kingdom has remained silent regarding the situation in the DRC. Belgium and France persist in providing economic and military aid to Rwanda, despite its involvement in the crisis and war with the Democratic Republic of Congo. The government of the Democratic Republic of Congo has threatened US tech giant Apple with legal action over what it says are illegally exploited minerals from the impoverished nation in its products, such as the iPhone. The letter accuses Apple of purchasing minerals smuggled out of the DRC into Rwanda, where their origin is allegedly obscured so they can find their way into the global technology supply chain. Not only did these conflicts bring death to the region, currently the workers work under horrible working conditions. There is rampant child labor involved, and workers work for less than 30 cents a day under hazardous conditions. Other countries where horrible conflicts occur due to conflict mining are Sudan, Angola, and Rwanda itself. But now, back to electric cars. The problem with electric cars is the energy storage density of lithium ion batteries. Stored as a fuel, gasoline is the champion. Gasoline produces 47.5 megajoules per kilogram and 34.6 megajoules per liter. A lithium ion battery pack is about 0.3 megajoules per kilogram and about 0.4 megajoules per liter, according to the Chevy Volt. Gasoline thus has about 100 times the energy density of a lithium ion battery.
The first major problem with a EV battery is its battery life is always degrading. Best case scenario, after 8 to 10 years of operation, a lithium ion battery will need to be replaced.
And that's gotta be expensive. A replacement battery for a Tesla Model S is about $12,000 to $15,000. The cost of replacement for a Tesla electric semi-truck battery will be around $70,000. That's gonna put a huge financial strain on EV owners in the future. Try convincing a truck owner in the developed world to invest in EV trucks, knowing that in 10 years they have to shell out $70,000 more for a replacement truck battery. Adoption of EVs is severely limited by the lack of charging infrastructure outside the developed nations, countries in Africa and Asia who still rely mostly on combustion engine vehicles. Massive countries like India and Pakistan frequently suffer from load shedding. Load shedding is the rolling power outage in areas to combat high demand. Major towns and cities can have 2 to 4 hours of electricity outage every day, whereas small towns and villages might see up to 12 hours of electricity outage. Developed countries like Germany and Australia are also on the brink of starting load shedding to curb demand. Next big problem, EV battery fires. EVs are not more susceptible to fires. However, EV batteries require a lot of water to be put out. Like a lot of water. Normally, a car fire can be put out with 500 to 1,000 gallons of water, Austin Fire Department Division Chief Tyre Smith said. But Teslas may take up to 30,000 to 40,000 gallons of water, maybe even more, to extinguish a battery pack once it started burning. Fire departments around the world do not have fire trucks that carry that much water. Sometimes multiple trucks are needed to put out an EV fire, and many times after the battery has been put out, it reignites. Last big problem, what do you do with the old battery? Very little recycling goes on today. In Australia, for example, only 2 to 3% of lithium-ion batteries are collected and sent offshore for recycling, according to Naomi J. Boxall, an environment scientist at Australia's Commonwealth Scientific Industrial Research Organisation, CICERO. The recycling rates in the European Union and the US, less than 5%, aren't much higher. Most of the batteries end up in landfills after being salvaged for rare earth material. With all these limitations in mind, car manufacturers have seen the writing on the wall. Automakers from Ford and General Motors to Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Jaguar, Aston Martin are scaling back or delaying their electric vehicle plans. Toyota has refocused its efforts on its hydrogen fuel cell car. But with few hydrogen fueling stations around much of the world, this technology has a long way to go before it can post enough numbers to affect climate change. But this is for certain. EV euphoria is coming to an end. So what's the answer for the world's locomotion problems?